Hey everyone, Effie here. Welcome to video 2 of our February release YouTube video hop. We have other super talented guests participating in this hop, so be sure to hop along, leave comments, and follow everybody on this hop to win one of 3 stamps of choice from our new release. Now let's get started with our card. I'm going to take our new Lovely Lily 4x6 photopolymer stamp set. I'm going to take the large lily image and place it onto the door of my Misty. And then I'm going to do some white heat embossing. But before I do that, I brushed on some anti-static powder onto my watercolor paper panel. Once I stamped the lily image using some embossing ink, I poured on some Brutus Monroe Alabaster white embossing powder. Next, I melted all of that powder with my heat gun, and you can see all this lovely embossing. I'm going to do some watercoloring now with some Spectrum Noir Sparkle Pens. And I just pulled up a reference image on my iPad just so I know exactly what colors I should use. I'm starting off with a Macaroon Sparkle Pen, but before I do any painting, I'm using a ceramic watercolor palette to just kind of I want to get the ink flowing in my sparkle pen because you have ink in the barrel. So I squeeze it a little bit, but I don't want to drop any of that ink onto my watercolor panel or onto my self-healing mat in the back because I don't want to get it inky and dirty. So I'm using my watercolor palette as a catch-all. So now that I have some of the ink in that palette, I can pick up that ink with the brush tip on the pen without squeezing the marker barrel to let more ink flow. I don't have to do that. I don't have to use the ink that's in the pen. I can just go and take some of the ink that's in the palette, and it'll help you control the amount of ink you have on the brush that way. So I just laid down a line of color along each lily petal, and then I blended that color out to the edges of each petal, and you can see here I have a nice base color, but I wanted a little bit more brightness, so I switch over and I'm going to use some pink garnet ink. And this is from a set of 3 sparkle pens. They're Glitz and Glamour pack. So I'm going to apply the same painting technique. I just laid down a line of color and blended that color out to the petals, not completely covering that base color that I already have, but I just wanted to add this for a touch of brightness, and you can now see that the entire lily has a beautiful brightness with some depth of color from that Macaroon Sparkle Pen. Next, I added some sage to those stems in the middle, and then harvest moon at the tips of those. I don't even know what you call it, but it's a nice deep orange. And now I'm just going to add some more sage to the stem. For now, we're done watercoloring the lily, but I am going to add little dots of mulled wine to the petals, and this is just kind of addicting to watch, so I didn't cut any of it out. There's something very satisfying about watching this process. So I'm just going to add tiny random dots along the lines of each lily petal, and this is going to give it a little bit more of a realistic look. Next, I'm going to take a Sea Breeze Sparkle Pen and add a beautiful soft aura around my lily. I laid down some of this soft blue ink along the edges of my lily petals and then blended that ink out with a medium or large tip water brush pen. I'm going to add a deeper blue to this aura for a little bit more depth and interest. I'm going to use my teacup sparkle pen, and I'm not going to add it around the entire outline of the lily. I'm just kind of going to go into each crevice here, add a few dots or lines of ink, and then blend it out because I don't want this darker blue to overpower that light blue that we've already put down. For our February 2020 release, we have a total of 8 stamps and 3 dies that are just absolutely fabulous to craft with. If you haven't done so already, I'm going to link our debut release day blog post in the description box below if you haven't checked it out already. And for today, we are hopping along. There are 6 other really talented crafters joining us to showcase some of our new stamps and dies. Once I finish watercoloring, I'm going to take the largest die from our double-stitched rectangles large die collection, and I'm just going to die cut our watercolor panel into an A2 size stitched panel. And you can see here, there's that stitching at the edges, just a really fabulous basic die to have in your stash. Next, I'm just going to stamp this thinking of you sentiment onto my panel using our Caviar Hybrid ink. And all I need to do is stick this onto a card base and my card is complete. I hope you guys enjoyed today's projects and videos. Don't forget to leave a comment on this video and the rest of the videos on our YouTube hop. And be sure to follow everybody participating in the hop for a chance to win one of 3 stamps from our February release. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll see you next time. Bye.